It is normal in the comic book industry for fans, retailers, publishers to pontificate about the state of comics. And when that happens, these days at least, everybody reacts because we all know, we all feel that there is something wrong. It's in the air. We can smell it. We could taste it
Some of us can
almost.
smell it.
Well, Marco is smellless right now.
And we knew he was tasteless before, but
Damn.
Right for the jugular.
Wow.
And today is another day where we are looking at several pontificators about the industry that is comics, who, well, some of them at least, are very doom and gloom about the industry. We are also going to pontificate today. And some of us might be a little doom and gloom.
I'll take that. Yeah, I don't mind. I'll take that position.
And I want to make that clear up front because there's a lot to unpack. This is going to be, a doozy. And if you like the larger industry conversations, this is definitely an episode for you. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Happy to be here. We've got a full house of pals. Hopefully we've got a full house in the chat. Let's hit the like button as we get things started.
yeah, I'm seeing a lot of green names in the chat. That's nice to see.
Walk
Yes. Love the green names. All right. Let's hit it. So ICV2, which is a website that publishes articles about, a variety of things, board games, card games, comics, etc. They had a guest column by Phil Boyle, who is the owner of Coliseum of Comics. That's a chain of stores. It's the largest comics and games retailer in the Southeast. And Phil had some things to say about the state of the industry, some very choice words for Marvel and DC, and some grim prophecies for the future and the near imminent death of comics if serious action is not taken. This is one of those times where you have a guy who's been doing this for a long time that takes a look at where things are at on the front line as a retailer and says, whoa, we have to talk. So let's talk. I'm going to let him talk, actually. I'm going to speak for him. So I'm going to read some of his words, and I'm going to do a lot of reading for the earlier portions of this conversation as we dive in, because there are a lot of angles and a lot of perspectives. So here we go. It's nearly 2024, and I'm more than concerned. Marvel and DC, you blew it. Or maybe you just succeeded in your plan to kill off an American art form of which you've been able to steward, which you've been the stewards of for 80 years. It's baffling that something so prolific was ushered to the chopping block and executed. Strong accusation? No. Just the unvarnished truth as new comic sales find new lows. So automatically we're dealing with a dramatic person. And that's fun. I like to read dramatic person's words. They're fun to read. I also want to say that now Phil is going to say some things that people might not like, that might make people uncomfortable. And we're going to debate whether we agree with them or not. We probably don't.
Incendiary?
Yes, there you go. He's going to make some incendiary
Any
comments.
slurs in here?
Four
What's
syllables.
going
Four
on?
syllables. He said pontificate first. I was trying to match it with 4 syllables. So.
No slurs. No slurs. Worse, you've gutted an army passionate retailers who've worked in this biz for decades for close to poverty wages in many cases. To put such a system of advocates in every state and major city in America and around the world would cost a fortune, but it happened organically to your benefit, and in gratitude, you've strip-mined what little profit there was in favor of short-term goals and chasing corporate bonuses. We, the retailers, cultivated the fan base the same way the underappreciated creators created the precious IPs that have made their parent companies obscene amounts of money. It was a biosystem of fans feeding off the Wednesday excitement, eager to spend money on not only the comics that drew them in, but the t-shirts, lunchboxes, and mouse pads with Spider-Man or Batman on them. Fans, retailers, and creators have all suffered under the recent corporate mandates. Where did it go off the rails? Along the way, the immediate sale and false bolstering of numbers through variant covers, convoluted events, and incessant reboosts left the considerations of the fans behind. Character swapping, gender bending, and changing sexual orientation of beloved characters fell flat with the Wednesday Warriors, who supported the industry for decades. The crowd of new readers the changes were meant to attract didn't translate to one-to-one swap, leaving a declining customer base. I'm going to stop with Phil right there, because everything he said so far, obviously it's a mouthful. The last part is something that people have really connected to. Let's get that dealt with now. Let's get it dealt with now. Go ahead.
You had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie.
I know.
You lost me where you started talking about mouse pads, because I said, well, I mean, it's 2023. Who needs a mouse pad?
That's
and
how
then
mice work anymore.
Can you use the mouse pad?
Which part do you want to tackle, Sean? Because there's two parts here. It's the convoluted events, covers, and all that, which I think is the first half that Cal mentioned.
Well, I mean, I was even talking broadly.
Sure. Okay.
Much further, and even up to that point, I was like, okay, yeah.
That's not a hot button issue. What's a hot button issue is the character swapping, gender bending, and sexual orientation of beloved characters.
I think that's conflating poor overall performance with books and ascribing it to a choice for diversity. I think there's a disconnect there. I think those books might sell less because less people will pick it up. Outside of normal books, it's already expensive. I think there are other considerations here for why those books might not do well, but inherently having a small population of those books, I don't think does damage to the larger industry. Like I think we'd agree that there would be less of those characters around compared to the total number of comics. I don't know that would necessarily have the same effect negative towards the industry that this person proposes, if it did at all, which I don't think it does necessarily.
Yeah, looking at it from a top-down perspective, like, that didn't happen enough where it's like, oh, it's going to affect the whole comic book industry. Like sexual orientation swap was Alan Scott and Iceman. I'm sorry, those guys weren't really selling books originally, or even had books, so it seems like a weird thing to complain about, which is more of like it's a self-report really to complain about that. And the whole like gender bending and character swapping, it's like they still existed outside of those characters. Like Thor was still around, Whitecap was still around. Actually, Whitecap sounds like an interesting mutant name. So it's not like the books didn't exist.
And by all accounts, those runs still did fairly well, those specifically.
Yeah. Like Sam Wilson, Captain America, I think did pretty well when it was like Rick Remender, and I think it was Immonen on art as well. I mean, it's a freaking team right there. So like you can't. It's more of a creative thing.
Well, and then Jane Foster Thor with Jason Aaron and
Daughterman.
That guy, Daughterman. Yes.
Yep. And that was an organic continuation of the story. So it's not like that one. He wasn't even really like. Those liberals are, putting their stuff in my books. So I don't know. So I was with him, and then this happened. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Don, did you see what I just saw?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I said, turn the mouse pads gay.
Was I getting into Alex Jones?
Yeah.
No. Someone in the chat made that beautiful comment. Look. I'm going to say something that I think, is controversial. In his world, he's correct. In the sense that you're talking about a guy who is a right-wing guy who runs a chain of stores in the the Southeast, okay? So Florida, right? And he's old and his clientele's probably old. So when he says that these characters, the changes and everything else fell flat with the Wednesday Warriors who supported the industry for decades, he's not wrong when he talks about his own people.
Sure.
And I have said this, most people have said it. But people don't want to accept it. The people who have supported this industry since day one, a lot of them, not all of them, not anywhere close to all of them, but a lot of them feel like this. And they have left, or they have become Comicsgate, or whatever. That's a separate rot. That is a separate rot. But it is a thing. Yes, when people saw Cap replaced, Thor replaced, Wolverine replaced, they were mad. But make no mistake, 10 years ago, people were pissed off. So what he's saying is not true. It's just not representative of everybody that reads comics. But I don't agree, despite that what he is complaining about is an actual problem. I'm not saying that I think that I agree with this.
So there was a shop near me that closed down, and they're closing down again. The new owners just announced that they're closing in a month. Where there was a lot of this sentiment in that shop, and a lot of complaining about it from people who work there, which then just bred a vibe of negativity throughout. And then it's just like, all right, well, then they're not going to buy the books if you're not selling it. You know what I mean? Like, if you the person there are also feeding that negativity, then you're not going to sell anything. Which I've seen multiple stores kind of have that vibe to it. So I'm not going to blame it on the dude for not selling the books correctly, even if he didn't agree with it. But
I mean, if it's your job to sell the comics,
exactly,
you're not doing a great job.
Catering to the audience, but
yeah. So I guess he did say something about, and I had that article pulled up here. Something about not attracting new readers that didn't translate.
Yeah.
And that I'm not wholly saying, I agree with this point, but I do see that reflected in stuff like the controversy around America Chavez. There was a lot of big push, from outside sources for that, and a lot of commentary from, the peanut gallery. But, by all accounts, the book wasn't that great. And also, it didn't seem like anybody bought it. So the audience Marvel was trying to attract didn't come.
I personally think that there are aspects of these things that have at least felt like pandering. And America Chavez is 100% one of them. I actually happen to really like that character. I'm strictly talking about the way that she was promoted and presented, and the way the book was written, quite frankly. So is that the case every time? No, absolutely not. I don't think that Marvel had an agenda in 2013 or whenever that was when they made a lot of those swaps. When I've heard Rick Remender talk about it, he said it was an organic thing that just happened to happen. I don't believe he's lying. But did it work in the sense that it brought on new readers who all came for X-23 as Wolverine? No. I mean, I just don't think that we can argue about that. He made some more points. So he has a list of 8 things that he thinks will save the market.
Just check them twice.
Marvel and DC have strip mined the comic industry for the better part of a decade, putting no money into the market that sustained them for years. An investment is needed by those who lived off the equity for years. If you want to market in 2 years, yes, 2 years tops, then the time to invest is now. What we need to revitalize this market: 1, $3.99 comics. I would say $2.99, but we have increased rents, labor, and insurance costs to cover. $4.99 is a non-starter with too many fans. Anybody disagree with that?
Hell no.
No.
I mean,
Even-
I would go so far as to say that there's reasons for increased rents and labor, but never mind. We don't need to go into that. Yeah.
I paid 40 pound to go see Captain Marvel today.
40 pounds?
Yeah.
Bro, you didn't go to
That's-
the matinee?
It was literally, I saw it today at 11 o'clock.
Damn.
That's
They
2 tickets, a thing of it. No, don't thumbs that up. Come on.
Kale, I know how to turn that off if you want me to guide you through
Don't
that.
do
I
it.
do
Don't
want
do
that.
it.
Yeah.
No, don't do it. I love to see him struggle.
And that was 2 tickets, a thing of popcorn, and 1 drink.
Is
Man,
that
that
the
sounds-
equivalent of $40, by the way?
No,
I
it's
would
more.
just think about it. Imagine you're paying 40 currency for a movie, a thing of popcorn, and a drink.
I do that
Like,
every
that's
single time I
nuts.
go. Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's more expensive here, honestly. You go
It's
see-
$50.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, even 40 is too much.
But we're talking about comics, and I think most people would say that when that if it's a bad hit, the $4.99 is a bad hit. It's just rough.
I mean,
$4.99 if you're lucky.
think of that in terms of, like, I mean, Kale was mentioning movies, but, like, in terms of investment of time and fun for the money. You're paying a quarter of it for a movie is what? 2 hours on average. And how long does it take to read a comic? Maybe 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what you're doing.
I genuinely thought this week, since Sean was going to be gone, while after Tyler read the credits on Pals Pulls, I was going to say, oh, and this book cost so and so, just because, like, it's got to be a metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By which we judge the books now. Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
don't think, and we've mentioned this, or rather, we've had a conversation before, and even the chat has kind of pushed back on $4.99. They would much rather save the $5 and just not buy a book.
Point number 2, fewer covers. I know this will get some pushback from every corner, but without a focus, it's all about the value of the covers and not what's between them. Max of 2 covers. While you're at it, give us a hook to sell, not just another convention commission piece with no indication of what's inside the comic it covers.
Thank you to Flo Dameron, by the way, for the super chat. He said the comic prices are too damn high.
You're
got
damn
that
right.
right, Flo.
Jimmy
Thank you
McMillan
so
there.
much.
First person I voted for.
Appreciate it.
I agree with that point. Both Flo's and this guy's.
Sean, when you were telling me about the cardstock covers that you have to sift through at Midtown, that blew my mind because, like when I get the images for the Pals Pulls, sometimes it'll say 1/18, or like it's the ratio of how many you need to get this cover, cardstock cover, and I didn't really think anything of it. I didn't notice the price differences for covers. That is mind-boggling to me as somebody who used to collect, physically.
Well,
and DC's gotten bad with it too.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Oh,
and then you've got Dynamite, who, if you look at some comic book websites to see what's coming out, they've got covers, that cover the whole alphabet and then do it again.
half of them are cosplay covers too. Yeah.
Well,
I
I'm
think-
not complaining about that part of me.
I think some people do come for the covers. Having fewer of them, I mean, at the end of the day, us as consumers will probably pick out one. I think having fewer on the stands, I think it's a way to artificially boost their numbers. So I wonder how much having covers necessitates selling comics, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. So let's for the sake of this part, let's breeze through it a little bit, because all those questions are going to be addressed, and we're going to read from other people who have things to say about that stuff too. So editors who are editors, too many stories are lacking and agenda driven, or lackluster and agenda driven. Too many covers are sketch drivel with no sales point, and too much
Ouch.
interior art is amateurish. Very harsh.
That's harsh.
I don't want to say I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with
Yeah, I
that.
don't either.
Yeah, that point kind of sucks.
The characters are iconic for a reason. The movies never got traction until they leaned into what made the characters decade-long successes. Change is good for story, but inevitably you need to touch base and with what brought them. Gender swaps, sexual orientation changes, and outright changes to who is in the suit are short-term headline grabbers, but without long-term sales, with very few exceptions. Okay, yeah, maybe. I guess there's some truth to that, although I would say new characters in general are not really succeeding, and that's a separate issue. So how much that specifically has to do with the race or gender, that's but new characters are not doing well, I don't think. Limited, or I'm sorry, tell stories without proselytizing. I've beat this drum for a decade and more, but here we are chasing away a large portion of our customer base with every new tale, as they want entertainment, not a serialized sermon. Come on.
My man forgot what a story is.
Cat punches Nazis. We've seen there's so many. Come on.
What?
This guy was reading X-Men just because it looked cool.
Yeah. Aggressively relaxing. That is, oh man. Are you guys reading a new Nazi manifesto? No. No, we're not. We're reading the words of a comic book store owner named Phil Boyle, who is, feeling like comics are in a dire situation. Limited new characters. Fresh blood is good, but it's become obvious that characters aren't organic to stories. They're shoehorned in for a bump in sales. Dance with who brung you, as the saying goes. I'd ask for a minimum advertised price, but we're not in that world anymore. You made deals with the devil, which is also on you. What does that mean? What is he talking about? A minimum advertised price in comics is a reference to the fact that there is no bottom limit on how much a comic can be sold for within the confines of the industry. Therefore, online retailers can put things on sale for any amount off, and brick and mortar cannot compete. So he is suggesting that there should be a bottom limit on what a comic can sell for.
You mean at discount or?
Yes. Like,
okay.
What, like if you're buying, floppies or whatever, and you're buying them from DCBS.
Sure. Yeah.
Saying, hey, DCBS can't undercut me by $1 because they're who would ever buy from me.
Right. Okay.
It's like when I buy it on like in stock trades for, Omnibus.
Yeah. That's fair.
Some things are 40% off,
Yeah. Comic Boom says the Comics Beat wrote a rebuttal to Boyle as well from another more optimistic retailer. Exactly. Which is why I'm sort of trying to get through this, because everybody's been talking about this article. And I want to make this point very clear. Whether or not you agree or disagree that comics are on the verge of collapse, there's a problem. And there's been a problem for a long time.
Comics Pals are here to solve it.
Yeah, right. COVID seemed like it helped the problem whenever people started to get their stimulus checks and had expendable cash, and all of a sudden there was this great infusion of money into comics, and so prices went up. And so now we have those same prices. That's why we breezed by $4.99, and now we're even accelerating past it, because there was so much money in the industry, and now that money is sucked out, and buyers are sucked out, but the prices have stayed the same.
Yeah.
So that's a major issue that we're facing right now. And here's the last point that Boyle makes. Here's the big one: discount and shipping. Marvel and DC screwed this market. So if you want to continue to have people dumb enough to labor 60 hours a week for poverty wages to sell and advocate for your precious IPs, you need to invest in that market. You strip mined all the cash out of the direct market, and retailers are bleeding from the bone. We need your investment or this market goes away. No, you can't just sell online, as the minimum production costs won't be met with online only. Investment means putting books on stands at a cost to you, not the people with the highest per issue cost. And the final thing he said, actual plan, set a minimum for each title by store. Every issue over that minimum is sold to brick and mortar retailers for 60 cents. This puts books on stands, minimizes cost to retailers, and helps print runs. What he is suggesting is that every store has to order an X amount of Batman. Every store that does that gets every order of Batman past that threshold at 60 cents per issue.
That's tough.
For Batman, though, like, I think that's a title I could take it.
Well, but it's tough because they have to calculate that every time, every month per issue. Like that's gonna the retailer to send over to the publisher.
They already do it.
Well, right now you're gonna send. I only need X amount, right? But if they're gonna set a minimum on the publisher end, and if we're gonna talk about this more, we can wait.
No, you're good. Good, go for it.
But if they're gonna set a minimum, it has to be by store, not outright whatever the publisher distributor says. So previously it was a minimum for Batman. I need X dollars. Now it's, hey, actually anyone comics needs X number minimum. Everyone comics needs X number minimum. Oh, the one over here on Astoria Boulevard needs X number minimum, and then that slows process down and probably makes it a bit more expensive for certain stores because they have different minimums because they have different populations of store.
But it's all it's suggesting is that you order a minimum to get into that bonus. So if you would only order 10 copies of Batman and 15 is the threshold, then you have to make that decision for your store. Do I have enough buyers of Batman to justify me ordering the extra copies to get the rest for 60 cents? Can I move these? And if the answer is no for you, then you would order what you would normally order and nothing would change.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm going to take a risk, if I'm a retailer, right, and I'm going to take a risk on Marvel Unleashed, which is the new pet book that's really great by Kyle Starks, if you say to me, hey, order 15 of these, take a chance, and everyone you order after that will give it to you for 60 cents. Can you move this with your store, with your purchasers? Can you move this with your clientele?
Incentivize them.
Right.
Sure.
Okay, yeah. Shit, I'll give it a shot. I'm not saying that that's the answer, but it's one of the only things I've ever read about a solution in comics that I've gone, I'd like to hear more about that. I'd like to hear someone smarter than me say why this cannot work because it makes sense.
And as for your concerns, Marco, I think technology is good enough to cover a lot of that, especially from Disney and the WB.
I've seen on the retailer and people are still, here's my chart. This book sold. I don't know how easy that is from a POS standpoint.
Yeah, the POS is a problem, especially when it comes to the multiple distributors and all that stuff. Yeah,
but that aside, I think the point stands whether or not the store is sophisticated enough to have an efficient tracking system.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is if Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery pulled their heads out of their asses and invested into comics for 5 minutes, they could figure this out.
Well, I guess it'd be Lunar and Diamond, right?
Based on what Phil is talking about here, he is saying Marvel and DC, the leaders of the industry, have to step up and do some work to sell their books. So Marvel and DC would definitely work with Lunar and Diamond and whoever else. But Marvel and DC need to lead the charge and they need to take the hit.
Not to be doom and gloom. I don't ever see that happening anymore.
No, absolutely not.
It is like a fly flying around their boardroom. They're just like, someone get rid of that,
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I think it's time that more people speak out about Marvel and DC. I understand that the people who work at Marvel and DC on a day-to-day, their hands are essentially tied on a lot of things. But maybe if there is a groundswell of support for the idea that, hey, Marvel and DC, step up to the plate. Why are you not leading conversations? Why are the leaders of the industry not a factor in the conversation about making things better in the industry? Why is it that CB Sapolsky has nothing to say on this topic at all? When Ultimate Invasion came up, I think it was Ultimate Invasion, or maybe it was Gods, being so expensive, the first issue, and everyone took Marvel to task for that, he said, hey, we hear your concerns. We did this because we're giving you extra content. There's more. People don't want more. There's too much more.
Yep.
We're done with more.
Yep. 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 Amen. God damn.
That clap was so loud, your mic didn't even pick it up.
Good.
Yeah.
There was so much heart in it, it would have broken your eardrums.
Do you feel like investment in the store, does that feel like, because I remember one of the things in my old LCS they used to do was he used to have his own, it was older, but he used to have his own Batman and Superman like cardboard cutout, because I guess they had done it at one point, and anytime there was like a new book, he'd put that outside, he'd help promote it with those cutouts. Like does that look at investment in promotional tools for the individual stores? I guess I'm trying to also imagine how we can kind of figure out what an investment looks like.
So he's saying what they need to do, but not how, and that's what
Right.
you're wondering. Yeah, I mean, marketing would be some of it.
Well,
like the Green Lantern,
massive
Blackest Night. Remember that, Sean and Kale? Like that got me to the shops because I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy this Green Lantern book because if I buy that one, I get this Blue Lantern ring with it.
Yep.
There are a lot of ways. If you guys want, let's talk about it. Let's just talk about it. Let's answer his question. Let's figure out for Phil what it is that Marvel and DC could materially do. I think the first suggestion is already there, making a certain amount of the books after a minimum 60 cents, because Marvel would have to take that hit. DC would have to take that hit.
Mhm.
That's them saying, all right, guys, we'll eat this to give you an incentive to buy more if you can sell these books.
Yeah.
And
That's teamwork.
that hit for Marvel and DC is like getting flicked on the arm. Like it's not really a hit.
It's relative, yeah.
I also think
Oh, go ahead, Cal.
okay. I also think this online ordering system that Diamond's been trying to put together for 15 years,
Nice.
like a little bit of push from Disney and Warner Brothers, a little bit of help from Disney and Warner Brothers. Maybe Disney and Warner Brothers get together and make it and say, hey, Diamond, we made this for you. Use it. We can revolutionize this industry together.
They haven't worked together since Roger Rabbit, so I don't know if that's happening
Well,
anytime soon.
That's part of the problem. However,
Or at least
That-
a push towards homogenization of systems.
of systems.
Yeah, when we were at the ICV2 conversation, that was a point that they'd raised. So right now there are a disparate number of services being used. I think the guy said upwards of 30 across the country. Like a different store in the same city or state uses two different ones. Like you have to find a way to get a cohesive ordering system and sales system. Yeah, I think that would immediately resolve a lot of issues.
It was Cape Pride from one of Portland's comic book stores that was talking about that too, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
She's not real. She's
That's what I thought too, and then like that was a real name.
It was nuts, but she was really real.
Yeah,
dragging
but
on
like
her shoulder and everything.
somebody needs to make a distributor agnostic software that could handle this, and like they need to be like, all right, well, I know this is not proprietary, but it works. And if it works for every publisher, then it'd be so much easier. You can't have all these different distributor programs because they won't communicate with each other, and then you're not really making any headway in terms of coordinating your data sets correctly. But it's tricky because it's like, all right, do I make something that can then help my competitor?
I wonder even if there's they have set best standards and practices for retailers. Like you have your previews book, right? And that'll tell you what's coming out. But is there and maybe this is going to involve a bit more strategy on the Marvel and DC side, but can they make small Bibles for some of their characters? Like, this is how you should position them within your stores. Like, these are the stories we have planned out, and you can inform the retailer ahead of time so that they also have some foresight into, oh, I know that this event's coming up. Maybe it hasn't been announced yet. Like, keep them more in the loop too, because they are going to be the ones that can help hype up a customer to come back. It's like, oh, after these next 2 issues, something's coming up. We can't say it yet because it hasn't been announced.
I think the issue there is you run into potential leaks. But if you look at what Skybound did,
right,
with Transformers and Void Rivals, like that didn't leak until like the Monday before. But even then, they had known about it for a week at that point.
Well, but also they do that to a degree at the big retailer conferences, don't they?
At the conferences, but
that's on Bleeding Cool the same day.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we have these larger plans. It's coming out, October, whatever. Cool. But is there stuff that they can do week to week to help build that fervor for those Wednesday Warriors, or even for people coming in the door?
Amin Perez, is this a problem of quality or marketing? I think it's a problem of both. I just do. And then he follows up with, in all honesty, are retailers being protected too much? I feel like every time a new solution for distribution comes up, there's some backlash. Of course there's going to be backlash. Of course there's going to be backlash, because in the United States, most people who buy their comics buy them from a retailer, right? They're floppies at the very least. Graphic novels, maybe you can make an argument for something else, but digital hasn't connected in a way that I'm sure a lot of people wish it had. Both people who have genuine interest in the success of comics and people who just want to see physicals die because they just hate it for some reason. But the alienation of retailers is something that would spell death for comics. At least the industry as it is would have to collapse, because where else are you going to get these books? If you're talking about going to get them from Amazon, well, are you buying floppies from Amazon? Barnes and Noble. Where else can you get floppies? Do we go away from floppies? Okay, so if we do that, then what happens to all the Wednesday Warriors? Everybody agrees that change needs to happen in the industry. No one can agree on what it is, and no one is ready to pull the trigger on anything.
They don't want to test.
It's a standstill. Everybody has their guns. Everybody's holstered up, right? Everybody's got their guns, but nobody's ready to pull them out. Because once that happens, everything gets real.
Yep. Yo, Sean, you trying to go right now, bro? I'm strapped up, bro.
Dude, let's not whip it out. Let's not play that game.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Hey, wait, whoa.
You want to draw?
Yo, we about to?
No, I want you two to.
This is also an audio podcast, by the way.
On three.
Wait. On three?
Do you guys actually have guns?
Or is it 1, 2, 3, go?
Is it 1, 2, 3, go? Yeah.
I don't understand Western rules. So Dan mentioned this in the chat earlier on. I can't find his comment, so whatever. Sorry, Dan. But he mentioned are retailers not evolving as well? Like, do they need to learn how to market things correctly and adjust their shops and evolve? Because honestly, like the shops I've seen nearby that are successful, capitalize on the Funko Pop thing when that was huge,
Yep. And are still doing it.
Yeah, I think that's died down a little bit. Funko has been adding their pops to that giant floating island of garbage quite recently. And or they've kind of adjusted to be almost like a community space with, trading card, nights or board game nights, D&D nights. And I feel like those that have evolved into more community spaces are the ones that are doing successful. Or then it's Midtown, which is just a monster. Or you have, Forbidden Planet in New York City, which is just in Union Square. So, like, they get plenty of foot traffic.
Well, but they struggle too.
They do struggle, yeah.
Yeah, and again, this is about selling comics. This is about how to sell comic books.
It's almost like you can't sell comic books.
The fact that people have to diversify to that degree means there's a problem selling comic books.
Yeah.
And the solution to how to sell more comic books can't possibly be. It cannot possibly be to tell retailers and Wednesday Warriors, go fuck yourself. If I didn't do this show and you told me that, I would say, okay, bye. I'll do something else. I'll go read something else.
We'll get back into Warcraft.
Yeah, I'll invest my time and money into something else. I read comics because I enjoy the stories, but I enjoy the weekly ritual. I like it. It's my thing. I'm into it.
It's built in.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that feel like me. And if that's not you, that's cool, but there's no way that can just be the answer.
The answer in that scenario being floppies go away.
Floppies go away, retailer be damned. Yeah.
Right. It's interesting because I think it was last week there was the announcement on the Compact Comics. It looks like they're looking at different forms of they're looking at just different forms. And I think that's interesting, especially in light of this article, because if you're struggling to sell the individual floppies, coming in with a larger volume or more page count for your book, it's going to make it cheaper for the publisher, for the printer, because you're doing a bit more at volume. I wonder if that is a way to not replace it'll be an addition to, but ultimately phase out the floppies. If that's a projection, because there's an expectation that the market's going to decrease and shrink in the next year or two, and that's an expected decrease as well for other people, because in that same conversation, the October Retailer Summit, there's an expectation that 2024, 2025, and potentially bleeding into the earlier part of 26, we're going to see a decrease in sales and growth because of that artificial bump from the pandemic. There's a correction at the moment happening, but that's expected from a business standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it is a situation where, we have to look at the reality. What if this is as good as it gets? Like, what if comic books are just not that popular right now? Like, what if they're just not that cool right now? What if it's not in?
I mean, it is kind of an antiquated. Like print in general is having trouble.
Yeah. I kind of find it strange, to be honest, that everybody thinks that there is an answer. Like that there's a specific thing that will work that will all of a sudden make comics flourish. We've all seen the death of things. Blockbuster's not around. You can't, where are you going to get Blockbuster anymore? That has gone the way of the dodo.
Netflix.
Yeah. Right.
There's a Blockbuster board game. That's about it. I've lived through the lean years of wrestling where it just wasn't that popular. And it's had its ebbs and flows. That's how it works. Maybe comics are not ever going to be as popular as they used to be, and everybody has to accept that this is what we get. I'm not saying it's a fact, but no one ever says that.
But I also think even in that case, like, the companies did this to themselves. From that DDO interview, we always talk about it. They narrowed the scope of the publishing.
Yeah.
Specifically so they could make a buck.
Yep.
No matter the cost. Nobody's thinking about the health of the industry, and the industry is always dying. Well, if the industry is always dying, that probably means it's not very healthy.
Right. Well, there are too many things that are wrong with it. Like, and for too long. So Dan said brick and mortar stores have seen increased sales over the last several years. But that's what Marco was saying. It's an illusion because of COVID, people having expendable, excessive cash and going into their past and childhoods and all of that. That money is not in the industry anymore.
And that curve, that increase is also sharp. It's like the whatever you have your standard, however it's been growing, but it was a sharp increase, and now we're feeling the effect of it has to correct back down towards that slope, the original slope.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Brian Hibbs, who is the owner of Comics Experience in San Francisco and also happens to be a co-founder of Comics Pro. Brian is a person that I have quoted quite a few times on this podcast, and he's very intelligent. He responded to Phil Boyle's post, which a lot of people did. I'm gonna skip his. He starts by saying, "I completely disagree with all the anti diversity stuff that Phil Boyle said. We get it. We all disagree. Now I'll move on. But the rest, I think Phil is pretty much right on the target. Periodical saddle stitch comics are on the verge of pricing themselves out of the market. There are far, far, far too many line expansions for particular IP that are causing readers to drop off even the parent book of the same IP. What does that mean? He is saying that there are so many Spider-Man books, for instance, that people are like, you know what? I don't even want to buy Spider-Man anymore. I'm done with Spider-Man. I'm done with Batman. It's too many.
That's kind of what we're feeling with X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are far too many SKUs being offered per title in the form of variant covers, whose sole marketing is fear of missing out, buying from consumers and retailers. This is a crazy story he tells here real fast. Seriously, when I sold the second store, I spent months working to educate the new shop runner about FOMO on variants. He immediately began ordering 1 out of 100s and so on, and was left with massive amount of overstock. He closed within a year. That is how savvy you have to be. Extremely savvy. The retailer says, hey, here's this sweet peach Momoko 1 out of 50 cover. It's going to sell. Don't you want it? And you, a novice store owner, you buy in, and now you're bankrupt within 1 year because you weren't smart enough. Because it's so hard. You have to be a mastermind to run a shop in this industry because of everything that you have to navigate. There are too many new characters being introduced in Marvel and DC Comics without sufficient workshopping. This is a function of a period a few quarters ago when all of the spec sites were pretty much all over new character alert. So marketing and development pumped up the volume, but that ship long sailed. New characters are great. Batman can't only fight the Joker, but if your job was to read solicitation copies like retailers are, it sure feels like a lot of trying to follow market trends on the balance, which never works for a very long time. See the entire history of comics publishing. How can anybody argue with that? What is the counter to that? We just said that Spider-Boy was only a marketing ploy. We just did that review and we said exactly that.
And you can feel it.
You can feel it.
In the comic, you can feel it. Like it's not it like it doesn't feel good. That's not to say the talent isn't behind the book or whatever, but it's not good. The feeling isn't there. Like it's ugh.
Do you think
What costume though?
Do you think it's a larger factor of these creators not being able to ultimately own these IP that they make, like, or that they help proliferate and bolster? Like if the creator is not attached to it, right, you're gonna put out a story that maybe works, that is ultimately good, but maybe doesn't have the investment from a creative standpoint. They've done the work, but I don't know that I'm in it to like ride or die for this character, because it didn't feel like the writers and the artists were ride or die for the character.
I don't think people get into this that way. I think I think sometimes you can. So that's not to say that sometimes you can't feel that, but you can tell. And I think those cases are fewer than people say. You get into writing Spider-Man because you really fucking love Spider-Man and you've based your entire life around writing Spider-Man.
But what about Spider-Boy? Like, what if somebody was like, yo, I have a Spider-Boy story and I'm going to tell it? and it's going to crush, does that feel different? Would that not feel
Yes.
different?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
would that potentially affect said sales of book
Yeah,
if that passion is there?
1000%.
But what I was saying is they're not incentivized, or creators aren't incentivized to do so within the big two, because ultimately it's not their character.
I see. Yeah.
I think I definitely agree. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but if Dan Slott created Spider-Boy, right? Like Dan Slott and the artist, I'm sorry, I'm not sure which artist was behind Spider-Boy. They should absolutely participate at a nice level in terms of what Spider-Boy makes money-wise. Yeah, I completely agree. But you know what? I don't even think Marvel cares for that to happen. It doesn't matter if the Spider-Boy comic is good. I'm not even sure. I think it was Hibbs who said that the variant cover scam means, and the new number one speculation means, that what is sandwiched between the cover and the back doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? That's true in a lot of spaces. Right here on YouTube, on a podcast. If we could be the best podcast on the planet Earth, you could think that, but if our thumbnail and title ain't good, people aren't coming.
Oh, people are never mind.
And you can charge a lot of money for a really good thumbnail. And that is what Marvel and DC do. They charge really big money for really pretty pictures that people pay for because they think other people are going to pay for them. That's it. Last words from Hibbs before we, move forward. And yes, the fragmentation of comics distribution for Saddle Stitch Comics into 3 different systems has invariably sucked most of the profit margin out of the equation for retailers, while the generally underwhelming content coming from the best-selling titles is dropping the volume of comics retailers can sell. I see a lot of retailers talk about they're struggling really hard right now. Hell, we're struggling. And I think we're very nimble in our buying and thinking towards periodicals. We also sell way more graphic novels than periodicals.
To which year over year periodicals have stayed flat, just over across the market, but graphic novels have been up specifically because of a boost in manga, because that's how they'll incorporate both of those things. I think it's like a 14% increase or something, as opposed to 0% year over year for floppies.
I don't know, man. I'm with him. The underwhelming content aspect, I just feel like Marvel, it's something is lacking. And I say that as a diehard, lifelong Marvel fan.
Yep.
We got a question from Comic Boom.
Yeah.
Do you guys buy ratio variant covers regularly? Nah, homie. And even if I had the option, unless like I really like wanted a Peach Momoko cover.
I think I have once, and it was the Cameron Stewart Archie cover.
Oh,
boy, do I regret that.
I only did it once, and it was a Thor issue. It was a Marko Đurđević cover where Thor is listening to music on an iPod.
Oh, that's a great cover.
But other than that, like the only time I've ever gotten those ratio ones is because when I used to buy Midtown Comics, they would deliver it to me in the mail. They sent me the wrong package, and I got a whole bunch of variants once. And I reached out, and their customer support was crap, so I just kept it all.
Hell yeah.
Wait, you were gonna call to be like, I don't want these variant covers, actually?
As a collector, I felt like, these are ratioed. I felt like somebody is missing out that paid for this.
Oh, I see.
I felt bad, Catholic guilt and all. But I still have them. So
I did it once, and it was for a Jean Grey variant that I don't even recall right now.
Everyone has a price, especially with you and Jean Grey. Yeah.
Well, and then let's not forget what your cousin Bean gets. Like,
Bean.
Let's not even talk about that, please,
nuts, man.
Please,
Scrooge McDuckin over there.
So Hibbs' response, I think, was a more middle of the road perspective on this issue. But as you can see, here's another retailer that almost is lockstep with Phil outside of the radical comic skate type of thinking. I think that there are a lot of things that the industry, from a publishing standpoint, really has to address. And obviously, retailers have things that they need to address. I don't think that retailers are perfect. We had a conversation about the state of the comics industry 3 months ago, and we talked then about the fact that retailers have a major part to play, because you go to Best Buy, right? And it doesn't matter what blue shirt person sells you Spider-Man 2. You go to buy Spider-Man 2, they're not going to do anything but try to sell you that. And maybe get you to buy a Best Buy gift card or a Best Buy credit card or some shit like that. That's it. That's all they're going to do. You go to a freaking comic book shop, you try to buy X-Men number 32, and all of a sudden you're hearing about Donald Trump and how black people are this and that. And you're just like, whoa, dude, I really just like Cyclops. Can I please leave? Can I please get out of here?
Yeah.
I really like Cyclops, and suddenly it's musty in here.
The first comic shop I used to go to near me, it, like, literally smelled like cat piss in the store because there was a cat pissing everywhere. So, like, I don't know.
I mean, but if they're
Look
the only
inward.
place that'll,
Yeah.
not talk your ear off about fucking right wingers, then it's not that bad a store. Frankly, it's an improvement.
Unreal. So there was a rebuttal published to the Phil Boyle article that was over on Comics Beat. It's written by Brandon Schatz with and Danica LeBlanc. All of these articles I think are worth your time. I don't really want to read through this one. We've been talking for a long time. But generally speaking, I feel like people who counter what Phil and Briner had to say things like, oh, well, this is what happens when you build an industry this way. And $4.99 for comics, well, creators have to get paid. Okay.
So they're offering helpful commentary is what you're saying.
Right.
All right.
I wish that $4.99 would go to the creators.
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me?
Those increased
super chats are open.
Those increased costs are not going to creators. Instead, Marvel's hiring tons of Italian creators that they can pay less for artists.
And
Yeah.
like, good for the Italians, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean, because I think it's decent money where they are, but it's just a way of
Euro's not
cutting
doing that
costs.
well.
And to fairly represent the article, because I don't want to be too cavalier. He does basically say, hey, retailers have made this problem too by participating in the variant covers program, and different things like that.
That was a good point in that article where, hey, if you don't want to participate, then you know what? The strongest way to voice that opinion is to not participate. I thought that was a good perspective on it.
I hate that perspective.
Well, but it still allows those stores who are bigger and have the capacity, and if there is interest from from one of your store members, he makes the argument. He's like, I can only say no to a customer so many times. At that point, maybe I have to dip into it because, hey, I know you come in not even once a week, twice a week because you're trying to pick up more books. I'm gonna cater to that. There's a reality that I think he gets shackled to, but having the option makes sense.
Like, you're kind of forced to participate in it though to make money. It's almost like the people that are like, well, you participate in capitalism. How can you, decry it? Because you gotta exist.
Well, but also, like, a good comic shop owner will encourage you to come back, will encourage you
Sure.
to
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
what books you want.
Yeah. I think it's tough putting that on the retailers, they have to keep their stores open. And unfortunately, because of the system, variant covers are a way to do that. And you know, David Gabriel, who is the head of marketing at Marvel, says we'll stop pumping variant covers out when you stop buying them. Again, everybody has their guns ready, but no one is ready to pull them out.
Yep.
David Gabriel saying, shoot first, stop buying them. And the retailers are saying, you shoot first, stop making them. And no one is going to draw.
Yo,
So we'll keep doing this.
I'll draw right now, bro. Yo, I'll draw right now. Watch me, dude.
Marco,
I like how Spider-Man's behind you, like,
podcast.
yeah.
He's on my shoulder. He's
Marco,
just
you
like,
need to get a Venom for the other shoulder.
Oh, that's such a good
funny.
idea.
Hey, by the way, we've got a lot of people watching right now. You guys are fabulous. Keep the chat going, and let's get those likes up. We can definitely do 30 today because we have so many people watching right now. 30 should be very easily achievable. Let's hit it. I love when you guys show up for these kind of deep dives. It shows me that you care about the industry.
In the draft later on is another one of Sean's being obtuse in the comics battles.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
I can't wait.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a very good time with the draft today. Atomic Hound, what is up? Says my LCS is very selective on the ratio variance. He has to be sure he's going to get that money back before he jumps in. And yeah, guess what? A lot of people who are buying these variants, I would guess, and I don't have numbers. I'm not saying it's a fact. I would guess a lot of them, maybe even most of them, do not care about what is actually inside the book. And so they will go to a retailer and have a relationship with that retailer and say, hey, I will buy any one of 100 that you ever get. You have a sure sale from me. And so now that retailer will go, well, shoot, if I can definitely sell him a one of 100 for $200, then I'll make the investment because I got that sure sale. What happens the day that guy can't sell those anymore because he ain't buying them to have them? He don't love comics. What happens when that guy can't sell them anymore? And that store owner still buys that one of 100, but that guy don't come through the door. Who are you selling to?
You got to make sure that guy's still coming through the door.
Yep.
And
It's a
you got to
huge gamble.
encourage more guys to come through the door.
To buy a 1 out of 100 variant, though. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, odds are the more people you can get in the store, the more people you can encourage to come in and spread the word. And, you know, you'll get another guy in there that's like, damn, I love these covers.
Sure.
Then the trick too is maybe go online, but then there's no minimum. What is it called, Sean? The minimum price.
Yeah,
thing.
I don't remember the exact.
So then it's a
advertised
whole
price.
different Wild West over there in terms of pricing that.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I'm on the side of the retailers, not because they're perfect, but because I think that they bear the brunt of all of this. I think the weight of the industry is on them because there is no returnability.
Yeah.
Marvel and DC and Image and every other publisher benefit. Retailers have to hustle.
Yep.
They
They're the
don't-
front line.
Yeah, they're literally the front line. And a lot of them aren't great. This is the system that we have. And I think it's top down. The publishers have to do better. Put out better books. Help these retailers sell your comics for you because that's what they're doing.
Invest in the industry
Yeah.
because
What's wrong
that's
with
how
that?
the industry is going to survive.
And one thing I don't
It's
think
like-
we touched on either is like just marketing. Like the Marvels came out.
Yeah.
I did not see any trailer for Kelly Sue DeConnick's run, Kelly Thompson's run, you know, outside of that. There's a new Captain Marvel book that came out last Wednesday. If they just put like a little stinger right before the opening credits, like anyone could make that on Final Cut. You know, there's literally no cost to make that.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, dude. And I wish you hadn't said that, not for any bad reason, but because it brings up something that I'm desperate to talk about, but we just do not have time.
Do it.
But
Do it.
briefly, Tom Brevoort addressed in his free Substack this week that the question of like house ads. House ads are ads inside comics for things that that publisher already produces, right? And we talked about that on this very show. And I said, I don't understand why there aren't ads for other things and not just house ads. And Tom Brevoort said that he said, there's probably not very much like positive that house ads do, but that it's the best place to advertise books because the people that will buy the books are reading the comic.
Right. Yep.
That's backwards to me.
Yes.
But we don't have
Yes.
time to get into that.
Come on.
I just don't get that logic.
Yeah.
Fuck it, let's get into it.
Because it's like the, this untapped audience that you're looking for, you're not advertising to them. Like, how are they going to know the thing exists if it's not there?
It's an echo chamber is what it is.
Right. And if you're gonna echo chamber, I guess go for it. But or rather, excuse me, if you're not going to advertise to the masses, that's one thing. But shouldn't you put ads in the books that can help generate revenue through ad partnerships? I don't understand why that wouldn't be a good idea.
Well, then I have to understand why. Damn. I have to understand why your DC book is driving my brand value, and if your book's not selling, why should I invest in your book?
So Marco doing his best Shark Tank impression.
Well, because that's and we've had DC and Marvel reps come to us and like, yo, how am I going to advertise in your book if
Marco just had to put his big boy pants on?
This is one I'm very impressed by you. This is a legitimate.
He's right though.
Yeah, no. I'm into it. I'm into it. That makes sense.
Those pages. Therefore, it makes more sense. If it's not going to get sold to me or another whatever, then it makes sense to put the stuff that you have currently on docket, because that's going to fill the page rate there. You're not going to get money back off of it, but you're going to use it.
Yo, no, I hear you. I never considered that the ads wouldn't actually benefit the product that's paying for ads. I never considered that.
That makes perfect sense.
I think of candy bars. There was a candy bar ad thing for the new DC initiative, what was it called, Dawn of DC.
Yeah.
Where I was getting candy bars. I was in Philly. I was picking up candy bars like 3 months ago that had Joe Mullen on it, Green Lantern, that had Jace Fox as Batman on it. But I don't think those ads are in the comic books. You know what I mean? Like the inverse of that.
So Snickers is doing more for DC audiences. The Snickers bar itself is doing more for DC audiences than DC can do for Snickers in their own books.
But I'm saying if there are partnerships like this, have it be multi-layered, like what if, I don't know, like there's probably going to be, I guess the more profitable thing is ad placement in movies. Really, that's what these companies are probably looking for. They want Blue Beetle to be drinking out of a Slurpee for 7-Eleven or something.
Well, but then if you have the Blue Beetle Slurpee, then at that point, if that's a partnership, then you can tie that into or I would tie it into the comic, but you got to give me a discount rate because we're also doing this other thing.
Sure.
Like, I'm going to negotiate that.
Yeah. Blue Beetle Slurpee, though, sounds like that goes hard.
I would take that chance.
Yeah.
Columbo. Wait, not Columbo.
Columbo.
No, wait. I just had it. Oh, yeah. Columbo. I disagree because I've seen time and time again that many weekly readers don't even know what books are launching, what events are happening, which I think makes sense to go into that echo chamber is because, hey, I know you're picking up this book. Here's what's also coming out for you to keep in mind as an activated reader. I know that you're going to get this book. Make sure you also pick up XYZ thing. I think that makes sense.
And even Jeffrey Groom, who new name in the chat,
just gonna say that
I don't recognize, but thanks for joining us. Mentions he is a reader. I want comic book advertisements, and I never get any. Those house ads not in digital, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then, what are you really doing there either?
Jeffrey also says, I literally never know what's going on unless I hear it here. I assume our podcast, which is pretty damning, I gotta say, or some other place I search it out.
Sure.
Like, why are we the marketing department for these multi-million-dollar companies?
Where's my check?
I'm dying here.
And you know what? Frankly, we've Comicsology stuff. We've done podcast because that's more of an effective tool than the books themselves.
It's probably why
I
we have
think
vendors hitting us up, you know.
I think that the problem that Columbo, sorry, points out is one that the industry just hasn't found a way around, because how do you reach comic book readers who don't go on Newsarama, or because there are constant articles about what's coming out. People just don't happen to look there. You know, they just don't.
I mean, Amin Brez makes a good point in the chat. Join our Discord, because Manny in the Discord is putting out all the news constantly. That dude is.
That's where we get half of it.
My news source is Jim Garcia. That man will do nothing but post news in our Discord server, which you guys should join, by the way.
Sometimes I try to like outscoop some of our own listeners, but I'm like, man, they put it in there first.
Yeah,
Damn it.
you can't.
It's already in. It's like, oh, look at this. Oh, damn, they got it. Good stuff.
Amin Perez says, "Is that untapped audience here with us?" Thank you. I love that joke, and I can't get enough of it, because I really want to know these people. I want to know them. I want them marked. I need Cerebro, right? So that I can use it to find and discover this untapped audience, and so that I can speak to them and whisper in their ears. Untapped audience, the time is now to buy some fucking comics. We need you.
And they respond with, I got to pay rent. Sorry.
It's wild that the people with the power to do it blatantly say they can't do it.
Sean, that's such a good,
you know what I mean? Like,
campaign.
Yeah.
Like that's like Billy on the street kind of thing. It's like, we've identified you as a potential comic reader. Take this book.
Name a comic. Name a comic.
Yeah, name a comic. Name a comic. So crazy. But that's something simple that I don't think Marvel or DC are doing, because it's not tied directly to the book, and there's not I know for sure I've gotten guaranteed sales. It's so focused on the bottom dollar that I don't think that they're realizing that by having that awareness of the brand, of the fact that they're published over the course of on a week-to-week basis, like there's informational things that need to get done to help bring people into the fold, because some people don't know that comics get published.
Yeah, absolutely. All of these are huge problems, by the way, that it doesn't appear the big two have an interest in solving. And the reason why the big two are the ones that are getting put on the pedestal here is because they're the biggest.
It's weird when it comes to all this. The only thing they keep thinking about is like, James Gunn, save us, you know. Do something. He has a plan, at least. Whether or not DC actually actualizes on that plan, who knows? They're too busy right now getting rid of potentially great Wile E. Coyote movies, so whatever.
Thank you, Matt, for hanging out with us. Appreciate you, Matt Sumo. Great book, The Bardic Verses. You guys should check out. It's a lot of fun. We had him and Pete on the show a few weeks ago.
He didn't say Phil.
No, because Pete's cool. Now we've put some FaceTime in.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh my God. See, Columbo. They still make comics. Quote. My coworker a year ago. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. I've said this many times. People in my life would rather call my phone and ask me what's happening in X.
Yep.
Than read the books. And when I tell them what's happening, they're always like, "Oh my God, that's so cool! Craziest thing! Can't believe it!" Don't go read it.
Your aunt's coworker situation?
He reads, and he's
tapped.
Very angry about Amazing Spider-Man.
It all makes sense now.
Should give him a segment.
Aunt's coworker, anti-cuck chair.
All right. Can I bring up Mark Millar's angle in this?
Next.
Absolutely.
What else? What are we striking from the rest of the show, Sean?
I know, right?
Yeah.
I have a plan. But can we get through it in 5 minutes? Can we do it?
Snappy.
All right.
doubt it.
Whatever.
All right.
It's our show. We'll do whatever we want.
Here we go. Mark Millar believes he has a strategy for how to solve the problem that the industry has. He says he has no skin in the game because he's doing his own thing, but he hates to see how people are struggling. So he has a plan. He talked about how he made $1,000 a page plus royalties when he was working in Marvel 15 years ago, assuming on things like the Ultimates and whatever else. And today people are getting paid $90 a page. So that's obviously disgusting. He says that companies pay around 2% royalty for all sales over about 50,000 comics. And that's dumb because most big two books don't hit that threshold. So that means people aren't getting royalties. His suggestion is that they get rid of the 2% royalty and they introduce a 50-50 split with the creative team on sales over, say, 60,000. Quote, "We'll send a bolt of electricity through the industry and bring the most commercial freelancers in the biz again." I'm not going to read the rest of what he said. Do you agree or disagree that that is something that the big two should do and that it would work if they did it? 50-50.
I think it's sharp, but I think the idea is salient.
I think it doesn't solve the marketing issue. I think he's right. It probably would reinvigorate creativity, but if the same people are still buying the books, it doesn't solve the problem.
50-50 is a little much. Mark Millar is a wild man.
Yeah,
honestly,
like,
I think he just wants to be involved in the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's like, guys, I still do books. You reading Big Time? You reading Big Time?
Notice me, senpai.
I like that he's put a number to it though. Like
50-50
you know,
is...
even if it's steep, even if it's unachievable, like he's put something out there.
And he's given it a qualifier of 60K. Like that's a huge order. Like I don't know if Batman sells, depending on the issue, that much on a monthly basis.
I think it does. I'm pretty sure it does. Maybe I'm wrong.
So does this then put the onus on marketing on the creators then?
No, I think what it does, and what his theory is that it would, which, you know, the onus is already on the creators, unfortunately, for the marketing. But I think what it does is it incentivizes the creators to do their absolute best. Someone earlier said that creators are creatively motivated to do their best work, regardless of circumstances. And I don't think that's true. It's not because I think that creative people are just walking around holding back until they get the right amount of money. No, you want to tell the best story that you possibly can, right?
Yeah.
But we also happen to know that certain creators who left the big two did that in part because they weren't sharing in the profits of their effort. And that's true of the 2013-ish, 2014-ish exodus. And it's true of the 90s exodus that led to Image Comics. So let's not pretend that these creators don't hold stuff in their back pocket. Don't assume Marvel doesn't wish they had Spawn, right? I'm sure Marvel would love it if McFarlane would have made Spawn for them, you know, but he didn't. He made it for himself. So if the creators are incentivized to do everything they can to make the stories as big as they can, maybe they go, shoot, I could go to Image and do something over there, but I could take those ideas and put that into a stellar Scarlet Witch series that I had an idea for. And maybe that'll make 60K, but maybe I can get some real buzz around this. And maybe my next book will push that 60.
Or even, you know, if the company still had their indie imprints, you know, Icon and
right,
whatever the other one was, Vertigo, I guess.
Vertigo, yeah, the indie imprint, yeah. It's just
agreed.
that label now.
Agreed to that.
All right. I think we have to, we'll call it there. This is a huge conversation that is obviously never ending, but I like when we get into this because, first of all, you know, we, the four of us and the listeners, care about this industry. And so these conversations are important to have. And I think it's important to be reminded of the state of comics and where we really are and what it's like on the ground level for the people who sell you your books. You know, I think there's a lot of disdain for retailers, but I genuinely feel Like, yes, some of that comes from bad personal experience, but I also think it's a misunderstanding of the realities of selling comics. It's hard out here.
And I think also, this isn't a. I don't think we're naysayers like for the growth of the industry. I think there are harsh realities, but it will continue to proliferate. And it needs those tweaks if we really want to maximize its potential.
Yeah.
And you said getting into it earlier, Sean. I mean, yo, if you're trying to get into it right now, bro, like you tell me, I'm ready, dude.
Dude, you don't want to pull out game with me, bro.
Yo, I got that heat.
Pull out.
Pull
Come on,
out game. Yeah,
Wait, what?
jeez.
I shoot, man, and I ain't shooting blanks.
Don't say that with Matt in the chat. Jeez.
Oh, whoa. Hello, chat. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for that conversation. The audience participation is always really appreciated. You guys are tremendous, and you make this a lot of fun to do. We love comics. We love the industry. We're super passionate about it. I don't want to see it go away. I want to see it grow and flourish. When I say that there is no untapped audience, I don't take joy out of that fact or what I believe to be a fact. I think that there are intelligent people in comics who, if they were willing to draw their guns and say, let's just put these down and talk and work on solutions together, we could really see change.
Yep.
That's what it's going to take.
They need a parlay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yo, Aaron Rees in the chat coming for me, bro.
Marco with that go away heat.
Damn.
And change
Pretty
your lower third to X-Pac.
We are not done by any stretch of the imagination. We have a lot more show to do for you guys, and we love doing it. If you enjoy it, if you love it back, there are a lot of ways that you can support us. Patreon.com/thecomics pals is the absolute best way to do that. It helps us out a lot. It's, one of the major reasons why we're able to do this. And we try to show you our appreciation for what you guys do for us in a myriad of ways. We have a lot of exclusive stuff over there, a lot of exclusive material, including an exclusive show called Palling Around. We have a newsletter that goes out, one from one of us every single week. You get to vote in the book club poll. That's up now. We've got Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. We've got Empire and Empire Rising. And I am forgetting one.
Well, X-Men Tallow.
There you go. Thank you. The one I'm most excited about, actually. So
I think you'll really like it. I think you will find a lot of meat on that bone.
I hope it wins.
It's,
I mean, I'm not campaigning, but
you can campaign.
Should we campaign? I'm about to campaign. Bro.
it's not my pick. It's Kale's pick. So I have no pick this month. I just want to read that book because it's Grant and Frank Quitely, right?
Yup.
And I love that creative team. So
I don't need to campaign. Sean just did it for me.
I've said too much. But you also get a nickname and a shout out on this very show. So I would like to say a special shout out to the best pals in the universe: Thunderstruck Rebecca Alejandro, the Hound of Justice Atomic Hound, and Starcross Catherine Stars. And I also want to thank the Night Stalker Harris Tajinsky, Brian Demolisher Del Pozo, Kefis the Incorruptible, Momentum Mike Elliott, Darren the Truth Trudeau, Joel Justice, Jalen the Sanguine Sorcerer, Marvelous Mike and Mackenzie, Marley Manistorm, Slow Flow Dameron, and Amen Almighty Perez. Thank you all so much. You are fantastic. The other people that I want to say thank you to are our channel members. Become a VI pal today. You can click the join button on this very video if you are watching us on YouTube. If you are not, then you can go to our YouTube channel and click the join button to take part in that. We give you timed exclusive videos, of which we have a few up there now. We're putting one a week. We're putting out one a week. So that list is growing. You should be able to see the videos that we have on our channel if you want a sneak peek, if you want to see what we're offering. And you get some sweet emojis in the chat and more to come. So, if you want to support us on that level, that's great too. Watch this show live every single Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Eastern. Watch Pals Polls live every single Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Vote in the listener pick poll on our YouTube channel, the community tab, and join our Discord. Always a lot of fun stuff happening all around our parts. We've got one listener comment to get to this week from Manny over on the Discord. Tyler, take it away.
So let's go to Wildcat for this question here. Manny said, "What 4 books would you have as a compact comic?"
Okay, I want to preface this by they're not doing this, and I'm not having this conversation again.
But they are doing it though.
No, they're not.
I'm confused.
This is not growing. They will not grow this. Don't make me come back.
The question is, what would you do? What 4 comics would you? Kale, this is just a simple question.
New Frontier.
Okay.
Jeff Johns, Green Lantern.
Okay.
Animal Man.
Okay. All right. Breathe.
Flex Metallo.
Okay. All right. You feel better?
No, almost never.
Just take your headphones off. We'll flag you down when we're done. Sandman, Volume 1, Sandman Volume 2, Sandman Volume 3, and Sandman Volume 4.
Wow.
No, I think Sandman's perfect for this. I would also throw in New Frontier. I agree with Cal on that. I think I agree with Cal on Green Lantern as well. You know, the Hal Jordan, Jeff Johns stuff. And then I would throw in something a little weird. I would actually throw in Gerard Way's Doom Patrol. It's a little more modern. The show is just finishing. I think the finale just happened. And it is a friggin' hit of a show. It's a great show. And I don't think they capitalize on that in terms of the comics as well.
I would compact comics a number of Vertigo books. Sandman's top of the list on that one.
Day Tripper.
My Boy Swamp Thing, Volume 1, the Alan Moore books. I think Doom Patrol is Morrison's Doom Patrol is really great introduction to just the wackiness of that world.
It is, but it also starts in the middle of someone else's story in a way, so it's a little weird. But yeah. I agree.
And I think the last one would be, and I think they're doing this one, Cliff Chang's Wonder Woman. Right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Do I have to do a new one, or can I just support that one?
No,
'Cause I
do a
like
new
that
one.
lot.
Support it.
All right. You know what, Kale? I will, huh?
Wait, they're not doing Cliff Chang's book.
Yeah, they are.
Isn't
They are?
No,
Frank
I
Azarello
missed
and
it.
Cliff Chang.
They're doing Wonder Woman
They-
year 1.
I'm sorry. I guess I missed it.
Wonder
I
Woman's
would-
only got 2 decent.
I thought they were just doing year 1.
So
I don't see her. I don't see that on the list. Am I insane?
Is it just year 1?
It's just year 1.
It's just Earth One that
Earth One,
from
yeah.
what I see.
Then
positive it's on there.
I'm gonna do that one then. I'm gonna do Azarello and Cliff Chang's. If it's not on the list,
Good one.
and if it is on the list, I'm gonna do Aquaman. But I'm gonna do the Rick Veitch 90s stuff because I like that.
Oh, the less
Well, it's
accessible
not
stuff.
on there.
Cool.
Kale coming at me and be like, I gotta get another one. I'm sorry, Dad.
yeah, you should be. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Injustice, Batman Year One, Batwoman by J.H. Williams III, and
It's going to
Great.
sacrifice some art. Ugh.
I know, but I just feel like people need to get that book. So I don't even like this whole fucking I mean, I like it. It's fine, but
Yeah.
like, you know, the problems I have.
I can't wait to get one.
And Batman and Robin
The
from
Morrison, Batman and
Morrison.
Robin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Hound says he would put Invasion in a compact book.
Oh God.
Come on.
Oh no.
Sean
Looks
screaming
pretty
like that just made my cat jump, and now I have claws in me. So thanks. Who said that?
Atomic
Hound.
Hound.
Atomic Hound. Thank you for the scarring.
Matt, what's your beef with Rick Veitch, bro? He's good.
He's not going to answer, so we should probably.
Yeah. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the question, Manny. So just before we get into the news, we have a favor to ask the audience. We don't normally ask the audience for favors, but this is a rare case.
Most of us.
This is a rare case where we need to do that. We have a survey that we put together, and it's just a survey talking about, us and what you like, what you don't necessarily like about the show, just your feelings about us and things like that. And it helps us out tremendously if you fill it out. And I can tell you that because the first survey that we did, we took every single piece of advice pretty much.
Massive input from you guys.
Yeah. So if you have thoughts and feelings about the show that you'd like to share, please share them. If you filled out the first one from a few months ago, there are new questions here. So please, help us out if you can. Everybody who does it is a superstar, and I love you. So,
Who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
I've been reaching for it for years.
Well, I do love you. What I also love is that the Hollywood strikes are over now.
Oh,
yeah. The actor strike is over. Hooray. Genuine hooray.
Yeah, we could do a Marvels review now.
Yes, we will be doing a Marvels review. Thank you for saying that, Tyler. We will be doing a Marvels review, and if you were watching us live, it'll be up Sunday, tomorrow. If you're watching us at any other time, it's up.
They didn't waste time too. As soon as the strike was over, Iman Vellani was like at screenings. Brie Larson was just in Times Square last night.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, really?
The Marvel screening in Times Square, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Screening.
That's so cool. Damn. I mean, look, this is phenomenal, of course. We want the actor strike over so we can have work resume and get these people paid the fair wages that they deserve, have them not be, overtaken by AI, curb the movement of AI encroaching upon Hollywood and the dangerous effects of that. So now AI is basically AI and digital copying of reproduction, I guess. That stuff is all curbed, and it seems like for now they've managed to stave that off. Marco unhappy with that. If you start that debate, we're gonna have a problem.
It's just a shame, Just a shame.
Is it? If we're starting that debate,
Well,
my foot's going through the screen.
It's a shame coming from an actual AI, which is Marco. He had a virus. That's why he wasn't on Pals Polls last week.
We're in support.
Kale, it's okay. Marco is a train ride away.
Oh, I'm coming your way soon, and I'd hate to make a pit stop.
I'd love for you to make a pit stop.
Be making an unscheduled stop, pulling the emergency exit.
Give me like 2 hours notice. By the way, I'm showing up.
Jeffrey Groom says the exclamation marks on the survey are killing me. Hey, dude, listen, I got to make it exciting for you guys to answer these fucking questions. Thank you so much for
are you just yelling at them though?
As well.
One or the other.
That's not how I interpret exclamation points, but look, I'm just gonna say this. Other than the fact that I'm happy, right, that the actors seemingly got a fair deal that they are happy with. By all accounts, everything I've read is it's a great deal. I don't know all the details of the deal. I've seen very little of the details of the deal. I don't have a lot more to say. I'm happy. It's great.
My understanding is the reason it was taking so long, especially here recently, especially in regards to AI, is that that Disney's already filmed some stuff using that technology, and they're the ones holding everything up.
Jerks.
So I wonder. I'd be curious to know, from insiders or whatever, how that got resolved.
Do we have I know when the writer strike was over, we had pretty clear the agreement. Did SAG-AFTRA put out theirs? I don't think so.
I don't even know if it's been voted on yet.
Fair,
unanimously.
Okay. Yeah, it might take
I don't know if
bit.
we've seen the whole deal for everyone to vote on.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Good for them. I love that now actors can actually talk about the projects, because we forget, these people are creative, passionate people. I'm sure that I'm mad that we did not get the Iman Vellani press tour for the Marvels.
Man.
She's such a joy, and we were totally robbed of that.
Yeah.
The people who were in Ahsoka were finally posting behind the scenes stuff. And like I didn't even think about that. That didn't even register to me that like all the behind the scenes stuff couldn't be posted. Like none of like Ahsoka's press ever really happened.
Weird.
Yeah, it was the deluge of stuff that came out yesterday on social media. It was like, oh yeah, we there was a lot of stuff that people couldn't do.
Yeah.
And you're right about like having had she done those things, I think that would have been great for like TikTok, like all of that audience would have been so much fun. 'Cause she loves this shit, and you can feel it, dude.
Yeah.
And I think
Look,
some movies struggled
yeah.
because of that. Like Bottoms came out towards the end of August, which was a great movie. But like none of those people could, like Rachel Sennett, Io Adibri, couldn't even really talk about it, and they were passion projects at the time.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Tops to follow.
For his part, Bob Iger
Yikes.
said about the end of the strike, next is the need to strengthen the creative output of our film studio, which generates value throughout the entire company. To achieve this, we are focusing heavily on the core brands and franchises that fuel all of our businesses and reducing output overall to enable us to concentrate on fewer projects and improve quality while continuing our efforts around the creation of fresh and compelling original IP. I'm devoting considerably more of my time to this with the goal of improving returns, always seeking to exceed the level of creative excellence audiences expect from Disney. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you for saying that.
Canned.
Yeah.
Kick
For his
rocks.
part, Kevin Feige was asked about his Star Wars project and whether or not we'd be seeing that, and he simply said no. So I think maybe the focus is back on Marvel, which is for the good.
Thank God, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. And also as an aside, he was asked about the rumors of bringing back the OG Avengers, and he said they have no plans.
Oh, thank God.
But there is some sort of Black Widow, some sort of Scarlett Johansson project in the works, but we don't know what it is.
With Marvel?
Yeah, that's what he said. That there's a
DC.
Interesting.
Interesting.
but I don't know what that necessarily means.
Right.
But
It means Scarlett Johansson's getting a payday is what it means.
it means they need to make good for that bullshit that happened with the Tower of Terror and whatever else with Black Widow movie. But yeah, congratulations to actors. Let's get things back to normal. Yep, you got your money. I'm happy for you.
And everything else.
Yes, absolutely. Marvel has announced X-Men Forever. No, this is not a book about the totality of the history of the X-Men. This is not a grand design or a life story type book. This is just another, Krakoan era X book. But this is actually one that I'm excited about. So this is going to follow up on Immortal X-Men whenever that resolves. This will be a spin-off written by Kieran Gillen with art by Luca Maresca, which is going to deal with the quest for Dominion, the Quiet Council and their problems, the escape from the White Hot Room, which we know now that that's where everybody's stuck in the Immortal series, and some Phoenix stuff. This cover is crazy. It's Jean Grey lying on the ground in a pose that doesn't suggest death to me. Let's say that.
Yeah, this is like when you turn the lights on,
And the Phoenix is basically like, drawn in blood, if you will. The Phoenix, outline is in blood below her. It doesn't look like she bled that out, but okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
But they're upside down from each other, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
As opposed to Jean, sort of being in the wings of the Phoenix or whatever, they're, going opposite directions, which I think is very interesting.
She falls while the thing rises from her death. That's what I'm getting.
Or
In,
the
in
other
Mark
way around.
in Mark Brooks he likes symbolism in his covers, so
Yeah.
it almost looks like a birth scene, if that's a little, much, but
Oh,
That is a little
that's an
much, but I
interesting
think you're right.
interpretation.
a little on the nose. But yeah,
Well, it's worth pointing out that Jean Grey and the Phoenix are not aligned right now.
yeah, the Phoenix is an Echo currently coming to Disney Plus in January.
Yeah, I'm actually really into this. Like, we had a whole bunch of announcements like Dead X-Men and stuff where I was like, but this is, Kieran Gillen, who's been doing, what I think is great work with Immortal, and I want him to be one of the people who is spearheading the end. I want to read what he has to say as we close out this era. So, and Luca Maresca's great. I'm into this.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll see what happens with it, and especially coming out of. Have you kept up, Sean, with the miniseries for Jean?
Jean? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll tie into these things then.
Yeah.
Ooh. Sorry, I don't know if you read this, Sean, but the description is Haunted House of X. How can you kill a digital god? All right.
Nimrod.
I guess I'm interested.
Yeah. What do you do when the Phoenix is bleeding out into nothing? There's been questions that have haunted you since the end of Immortal X-Men. Finally, some answers. There's also been some questions that have haunted you since the start of Immortal X-Men. Finally, some answers too, but not the ones you're expecting. My only curiosity is, why can't we get those answers in Immortal X-Men?
Where? Oh yeah, right. Why relaunch it, huh?
Yeah, that's nuts. It's a 4-issue mini, by the way, worth pointing out. And it goes on sale March 20th.
Okay.
Cool. DC is teasing a Trinity of Evil in 2024. So you guys know those roadmap images that DC has put out over the last year, I guess.
I love those.
There are these roadmap images that they started to do after the Dark Crisis on Infinite fucking Earths finished, that was showing us the future, and it was parsed out. You could see bits and pieces, and then as months went on and we saw more things unfold in the comics, they showed us more of this roadmap. So now the roadmap is no longer teasing, notably, the return of the Justice League, which it used to tease. It no longer shows that. Now it says, next to Titan's Beast World, it says something evil is coming.
Spooky.
Okay, is it me, or does that teaser look very Brainiac-y?
It is a direct reference to Brainiac. You're right, because we're getting the woman Brainiac in Action Comics and Superman. It's Joshua Williamson telling a story that he's been building to with Brainiac for some time. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The story arc in particular is called House of Brainiac. It's going to introduce the Brainiac Queen. Look, I'm not saying, right, that you cannot have this, the Brainiac Queen, right? But we just had Shush. Joshua Williamson just debuted Shush.
Oh my god, that's right.
We had Scandal Savage in her, not that she's a new character, but we had Scandal Savage in a recent issue of the Gotham War stuff. And now we've got Brainiac Queen.
Batwoman who laughs.
Yeah, what the hell?
Dan says it in the chat. This is the sort of gender swapping nonsense that's got me buying more comics.
DC villains just servant cunt. That's all it is.
Whoa.
Nice.
It's just what is for real, right? Like, let's just be really real. Saying, okay, we're going to take Brainiac, right? A character that people enjoy. And we're going to say, let's not do him. Let's do Brainiac Queen.
There's for Brainiac, weirdly, this makes sense. It gives it a hive mind, beehive situation. I don't hate that. That makes a degree of sense for me. But Shush? The Batwoman who laughs. Why?
And they did this with Ultron, by the way. Remember, Marvel did this with Ultron. Wasn't there a
course I don't
woman
remember.
Ultron
Jocasta?
in the not Jocasta? I thought that there was a during Bendis's run. Wasn't there a time where they encountered a female Ultron? Maybe I'm completely
I don't remember
misremembering
that.
that.
I don't discount it, but yeah.
I might be misremembering. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is that this is a super common thing. I don't see this and go, wow, I gotta buy that.
And it's not like McFarlane's going to make these action figures because they're women.
Damn.
Great point. But also, like Trinity of Evil, like big fucking deal.
Who would the Trinity be? Would it be Brainiac, Lex, Joker? Is that?
It's
Probably.
Zora-Nar. This is just my thoughts. Zora-Nar, the Brainiac Queen, and I don't know who the fuck else.
Missed opportunity to use the Machine Queen from Swamp Thing here. Good crossover
No.
potential.
I don't think so.
I
Yeah.
don't think anybody actually cares about that character.
No.
on
If
any
you
level.
have your
No.
Comics Pals bingo card, you can put a stamp on Marvel mentions Swamp Thing right now.
Apparently, the chat says that I'm correct about Ultron at some point being a woman. So
The form of
Ultron took the form of Janet.
From The Good Place?
accent.
Huh.
MP says Trinity of Evil sounds like a marketing gimmick name, not an actual story. Ding, ding, ding. Winner, winner.
Oh no, we just talked about that.
That's exactly what the retailers are talking about. It's literally this.
No, come on, MP. Brainiac Queen, Amanda Waller, and Zora-Nar. No, come on.
That's
Well,
not-
they're not teasing anybody else. I don't
Word.
know. I don't know.
Nobody else makes sense.
literally in the back of all these books, Amanda Waller's been there, twiddling her fingers. Just you wait until I reveal my true plan.
The finger pyramid of deep contemplation.
Well, a part of the evil plan of Amanda Waller is launching a new Suicide Squad team.
It's been
We are
around
getting
for like 10
a
years.
Suicide. Sorry,
That's been the same plan for like 10 years now. Like,
She's got
Amanda,
one plan.
come on. No longer.
All right.
She's been there since the dawn of Suicide Squad.
So that stupid that group, that consortium of evil dudes that she talks to, right? That appear on like screens. They're like, okay, Amanda Waller, you have the green light to kill every super powered person on Earth, and you have our resources to get whoever you need to get. And she goes, okay, it's time to put together the Suicide Squad Dream Team.
I need Deadshot. I need Captain Boomerang. I need Harley Quinn.
I don't even think it's not like the Bulls. I don't know what year the Bulls had the Dream Team or whatever. This is a sports reference.
94.
Yeah, something.
The first one and then the second reign.
But
late 90s,
I think
early 90s.
these are literally, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but these are just characters that can access dreams. Like, it's more literal than that.
So yeah, there's a specific character who informs the name of the book. It's Nia Null, the Dreamer.
Yeah.
From Supergirl.
Yeah, she was a
know
CW creation. It's a
Yeah,
trans
yeah, yeah.
character that actually made her way into comics. Has a Fortnite skin, which is saying something.
Oh.
And has popularity, I guess, because they've been putting her in a lot of comics.
It's cool.
Tulumbo says, I got one more in me, Waller. Phenomenal. Love it. So this is co-written by Nicole Maines and Steve Orlando, with art by Fico Ossio, Luis Guerrero, and Rob Lee.
Nicole
I'm
Maines is the actor.
Yeah.
Generally that played Dreamer in Supergirl.
Right. And I believe that Nicole has done other DC work. So
Yep.
Yeah.
pretty cool. Not for me. This is not for me.
Utterly uninterested.
I mean,
You telling me we're going back into the dream world? Ah,
Oh my
Hey.
God, I didn't even think about that, dude. Fuck.
that's not your night terror.
That is
Bro.
my night terror. You're right.
new Sean reaction
said-
image just dropped.
They said, "Oh, you didn't like night terror? Let's try it one more time.
The only
Nightmare's too
DC
much. Let's
dreams
do-
I want to
yeah.
have involve Cheetah. Next, I'm done with this.
Big Barda.
Big, oh yeah, Cheetah and Big Barda. You got it, Marco.
Brainiac Queen for me. I'm ready.
And Brainiac.
Tentacles. Let's go.
Talk about a trinity of evil.
Hell yeah.
I don't like how they're trying to get Suicide Squad to, like Dreamer's a hero. Like Suicide Squad always, in my opinion, should be rapscallion, villains or anti-heroes. She's too good for this team. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like it's against what Suicide Squad is, and Suicide Squad now just feels like a brand rather than an actual team with an MO.
Suicide Squad TM.
Like, they're,
sure.
I don't know the next time we're going to see a Suicide Squad member get their brains blown up. Like, that's what I want back.
Yeah, like some actual like stakes for the characters. Yeah, that'd be great.
Unless they do it with this character, and they're going to get like, a lot of blowback for that.
Blowback. You got that shit right. Okay. Now, oh, I totally forgot. We were supposed to talk about something we didn't talk about. We'll talk about it now. The Ultimate Green Goblin has been announced.
Oh, we could have skipped that.
You're right. We definitely could have.
That's the discussion.
Big fucking deal.
Wait, isn't Ultimate Green Goblin like the buff dragon dude or whatever?
We're in a new Ultimate Universe. Have you not been reading those books with us, Marco? Come on.
No, I know, but
Dragon, dude. Fin Fang Foom?
no, like
no.
in the
Now that's a Spider-Man book.
I only know him from the game, but he throws fireballs and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
you're
But
right.
this is not that Ultimate Universe anymore.
Right.
But yeah,
I know.
for sure.
This looks like a new Goblins from Spider-Man 3.
It does.
And we know it's
Um,
not Norman, so...
See, but we don't know that though. Those people are missing, not
True,
necessarily
true,
dead.
yeah.
We got the hint that it's Black Panther. According to Sean, anyway.
Oh well, all right. Yeah, I bungled that one. I don't care. Like, I'll read the book. I'm into the book. I'm happy. I'm excited. I don't care who. I don't even care to No, I do. What the fuck am I talking about? I had this thought earlier today. I didn't write it down. I know who this is. I already figured it out.
Well,
I can't believe that no one else has
Oh,
figured this out.
it's
I'm
Paul.
breaking this news right now.
It's
Paul.
Paul.
This is the debut of Ultimate Paul. This is where he's coming from.
Yeah, you know what? You sold me.
It's perfect.
I was
Peter's an
ready to wash
adult.
it out.
He's with Mary Jane. They have 2 kids. This is Paul. He's coming to take what's his.
This is that infidelity arc I was talking about.
You called it.
Okay.
Ultimate Paul.
Bro, he even got green on for Riz. Chill. That's crazy. That's crazy.
He's going to be throwing Blumpkin bombs.
We're-
Oh my god. Multiversal cucking.
It's the
Damn, dude.
multiversal saga right now, so...
Pretty nuts. Amin Perez, I agree. He said, I hope it's a mystery. I agree with that. Yeah, I hope it's
I kind of don't like how they announced this.
Yeah, me too. I think
I
this
would
is
have
a little
rather have just
lame.
seen it in the book. Like, the Spider-Man news was enough to get me to buy the book.
yeah, they're leaning on the villain to make this thing. When frankly, it'd be cooler if this was a turn-page reveal. Oh.
To be fair, this is the nature of comics, whereby this is just spoiled by the solicits, right?
Sure.
So
B.W. Gordon, since past has taught us that Peter's partners are into goblins.
yo, you're
Damn.
right.
Damn.
Yep.
That little bit of crazy in them, so to speak.
I do care who it is. I just want to see it unfold. It's one of those things where I wish I hadn't seen this, but we can't avoid that, nor because of the nature of comics, nor the nature of what we do. So
Yeah. I don't care about this specifically because it's the Green Goblin.
you were
If
hoping they
they've
would avoid
done-
him.
Yeah. Why do we have the Green Goblin in a universe where Spider-Man doesn't exist yet?
And if it's not Norman, like, I also don't care. Because that's every other Goblin character, I like Green Goblin because it's Norman Osborn.
Like, what if it was Shocker?
The-
Shocker would
You
be
know
a
what I
better,
mean? Like-
better character for Paul to take over, honestly, if you catch me.
Well,
No,
hey, come
no,
on.
because Paul's very successful.
Paul,
Well,
Paul
Paul
don't
knows how
shock.
to do the Shocker, I bet, too. So.
But you know what I mean? Like, giving a lower tier character up a level up.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I don't like this costume. I don't like.
It's too plain. It's like generic, industrial.
Oh,
I
Chameleon
love
would have been great,
Chichetto.
Columbo.
I love Chichetto, but I don't care much for Chichetto's costume design. Typically, like his Daredevil, great, but his costume design is very realistic in a world that I don't think should be realistic.
What if it's Uncle Ben? Oh my God. It's not Uncle Ben. I think we can definitely say it's not Uncle Ben. Picture
cool.
me coming on Pals Polls in March and saying it's Uncle Ben when we get the reveal for who this really is.
I would love that.
What if it's Sting?
Write that down and remember it for the bit.
Right? Cool.
Jeffrey Groom. Survey answer. Less Paul, please.
Damn, not a fan of Paul. All right.
Well, now we know Jeffrey Groom is just a pseudonym for Peter Parker.
All right. Now, I want to do something a little different because we've got more news, but, we want to do a draft and stuff like that. So, we're going to handle this a little differently than we normally would. We have 2 news stories, but we're only going to talk about one. And we are going to decide which one we're going to talk about.
Oh, no.
Good, because I only grabbed slides for one of them.
All right.
I know which one I want to talk about.
So we have, on one hand, Dawn Runner, which is a new book from Ram V, Evan Cagle, Dave Stewart, and Aditya Bidikar. On the other hand, we have a new book from Tom King and Bilquis Evely called Helen of Windhorn. Chat, you guys, what do you want to talk about?
No.
Rom V.
Rom V, please.
That's
Easy.
the one I have the slides for. So
I do not care about what Tom King's doing right now.
I care more about what Bilquis Evely is doing more than Tom King.
Yeah, agreed.
I wanted to talk about Tom and Bilquis.
Hey, sorry.
I'm shocked.
You don't run the show.
I'm actually
You put it in my hands. I said no, thank you, sir.
All right. All right.
This Daddy Kale arc this episode has been wild.
Daddy Kale.
I don't.
I'm not sure
I'm not comfortable with.
Kale,
that.
how's that feel?
Oh, I'm very comfortable with it.
Dude, don't impregnate our child, man.
That was the worst.
Marco's the child. Marco's the child. And I'm saying stay away from Marco.
Wait,
because your sexual tension is too high.
But who
you
are
and
the
I are the
parents?
parents. You and I are the parents of Marco.
Oh, I've watched this
I wasn't.
one. Yeah,
I wasn't made aware of this.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We got 1 vote for Dawn Runner. That's crazy. Hold on a second.
No, Tom King.
No, Dawn Runner. That's all I got
Evely.
slides for.
All right. I guess we're talking Dawn Runner.
And I think that was the most awkward silence that the show's ever had, by the way.
You know what? It was pregnant.
Yeah, it was.
All right. So we talked last week about a new Ram V book. This week, we're talking about a new Ram V book.
Oh, shit.
This one's from Dark Horse, and it's coming out in 2024, and it involves mechs. It's got a mech guardian thing going on. Do you have... Well, you've got the cover, at least. Looks pretty cool.
This got announced alongside a fire trailer. It was like 15 seconds, maybe, but it gave... oh, my God. Evangelion... Just like it looks like some tragedy shit with big robots. Give it to me.
Hell yeah.
The art, so good. Loose and kind of just like tight lines, but flexible. Yo, this other cover.
Yeah, wow.
Damn, dude.
That is...
I think this is the one by that guy who did Low.
Evan
Ticini?
Cagle.
I think this is a Ticini cover, I think.
Oh,
There's a lot of different artists doing covers for this book. So
Yo.
I think Ram teased this when we interviewed him. He talked about doing work with the artist who did the covers for Detective Comics, which is Evan Cagle. And he was saying, he's doing some interiors that are crazy. I think Evan Cagle's also doing an issue of Detective coming up. But I think this is what Ram was talking about because...
I got to get on Detective.
Yeah, Ramvi actually teased the book that we talked about last week on this show as well.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Plant seeds in interviews.
Yeah.
This stuff's wild.
So this is the solicit. Oh wait, do we have the solicit? That's not right. The article that I'm pulling from doesn't seem to have the proper solicit. But anyway, it's a book about mechs. There's a teaser that's pretty cool. I'm into it. I'm actually really intrigued by the idea of Ramvi telling a story involving Gundams.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Word. Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yeah, right.
Yeah. This is cool.
I think I found one.
Yeah, I've got one. A century ago, a portal opened over Central America and giant monsters known as Tetsa came through, changing our world. Now the world puts all its efforts into making the Iron Kings, giant mechs that are forever battling the Tetsa for humanity's continued survival in gladiatorial combat. Anita Marr is the greatest of the Iron King pilots, chosen to work with a secret new prototype named Dawnrunner, an Iron King that could change the tide in humanity's favor.
Scrumptious. Scrumptious. Just give it to me.
Yeah, this looks
into
good.
it.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this.
Fucking anime, dude. Give it.
I wouldn't be into it if it was an anime.
Well,
Luckily, it's a comic.
Exactly.
and I like that it's Central America. It's an interesting twist for kaiju.
CW Gordon is on fucking fire. Pacific Rom.
Ooh.
Yo, Ramvi is putting out comics like Amanda Waller's putting out Suicide Squad teams. Like it's just one after the other after the other.
But far better.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I love the fact that Ramvi just he's always finding a way to switch it up, do something a little different. Like, Swamp Thing wasn't a typical Swamp Thing, like it had other elements, introduced a new main character. He's just really good at that, finding new and unique angles to take.
And it just like, he talked about this the first time we talked to him years ago at this point. But, he talked about the different perspectives, the different types of stories you can tell from different cultures or whatever. And that I think about that constantly. And just the stuff that he's putting out, and he's doing different stuff all across the board. That's different, not only different, but different on stuff that shouldn't be different, on stuff
Right.
that's easy. Like it's just knocking it out of the park.
Yeah. Super, super talented. We're lucky to have Rom in the industry, for sure. And working on, well, for me at least, working on Big Two books, bringing a little flavor to those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. March.
Yeah, March. We only have one thing left to do. And that, of course, is a draft because we smashed our likes goal. Thank you all so much for that. This one I think is going to be fun. We are drafting the perfect team. Now, what does a perfect team mean? Well, it's a balanced team. It's a team with all the ingredients. So, our responsibility individually is to draft a team that includes one and only one of the following types of characters: a tactician, a bruiser, a stealth character, a tech-based character, and an elemental-based character.
Ooh.
Some characters obviously overlap. That's fine. And there will be discrepancies, I assume. But for the sake of this draft, tactician means strategist, and that could be the leader. So that's right. So those are the stakes.
That was tactician, bruiser, stealth, technology, and elemental.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. And so you guys know the drill. I'm going to roll my handy dandy dice. And whoever wins the die roll will go first. I will start with. We'll start with Tyler. Nine. That is a 9 for Tyler.
Ooh, good toss.
Unless it
Kale?
was in German.
10 for Kale.
Ooh, sweet mama.
Myself, 4. Marco, 9.
Oh damn.
Roll off between Tyler and Marco for second place. I will roll for Tyler first. 5.
Ready, Sean? You ready?
All right. Rolling for Marco. 5. Oh my God. Roll off again.
Rollies.
Rolling for Tyler. This is crazy. 5 again.
Get the fuck out. Ready.
Marco. 5 again.
Yes.
What the fuck?
Let's go.
This is just dumb.
Keep
All
going,
right.
keep going.
Rolling for Tyler. 4. Rolling for Marco. 8. All right. So it'll be Kale, Marco, Tyler, myself. That is the order.
And
Okay.
when we say who we're picking, we have to say what role we're picking them for, correct?
Yes, and you don't have to pick the roles in any particular order.
Okay.
Just-
And
Okay.
any comic book character across any company.
big 2.
Big two, yeah.
Big
whatever.
two.
Yeah, okay, big 2. Yeah, big
Okay.
2.
Okay, I'm gonna come out the gate with my stealth character. I'm gonna pick the Flash.
I don't know.
I don't.
Speed as stealth.
It vibrate through walls.
Yeah,
But that's not his.
The
I
Flash
think
doesn't-
I think it's a
yeah.
different angle. But
He is in and out.
to me,
Yeah.
like, you know, if he doesn't want to be seen, he's not seen.
Heroes, right?
Sure. Yeah, heroes.
Damn. All right. Well,
Are we
I'm-
giving
I'm okay
Kale
with that.
Flash?
Because I don't think Flash exists in any other of these archetypes.
All right. Flash it is.
my first elemental. Sorry, my elemental. Damn. I guess I'll do Swamp Thing.
All
Ooh,
right.
I didn't even consider that.
I'm glad you never disappoint. Give me. I'm gonna take the normie pick. Let me get Batman for stealth.
All right. I will choose Storm for elemental. And I'll go with Captain America for my tactician.
Damn.
So I go. Let me. For
This one's tough, Sean.
this one's tricky. I'm trying
Good
to.
one.
I'm thinking of a lot
Thank
of
you.
things at once here. I gotta limit myself. Bruiser. Let me just get Hulk for Bruiser.
All right.
Me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stealth. Batman. Terry McGinnis.
Sure thing.
Okay. My tactician will be Captain Cold,
I like it.
Valid.
and my technology is going to be Oracle. Barbara
Oh,
Gordon.
nice. Good. My tech is going to be Cyborg.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm gonna go
okay.
elemental, and give me Thor.
Okay. Kale, you picked Captain Cold, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Was that your
for
only
tactician.
pick? You went twice, right?
It was Captain Cold for tactician and Oracle for tech.
Ah, yes. Okay. So it's my turn again. For Bruiser, I'll go with Superman.
And you get to finish it off, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And then for my tech, tech.
It's tough, man.
Tech is tough. Iron Man.
Yeah, that's the tech one there. So let me get my tech is going to be Hank McCoy Beast.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. All right.
My tactician, Wonder Woman.
Okay. Okay. So I have Bruiser and Elemental left. So for my Bruiser, I'm gonna do Shazam.
It's good.
And then for my Elemental, actually, specifically, I'm gonna do Mary Marvel Shazam.
Oh, okay.
And then for my Elemental, I'm gonna do Firestorm.
Nice.
Nice.
Which one?
The one,
The one, yeah.
the one with the elements.
My bruiser. I was struggling for this one. I was about to pick Wildcat. I'm gonna do Juggernaut.
Okay.
You know, Wildcat would have been a tremendous choice.
But I'm like, yo, he's gonna get
Yeah,
squashed.
he's gonna get demolished.
Especially in the bruiser category. If like we're doing like a
Yeah.
face off, X-Men 97 intro style or whatever.
He'll fucking walk away though.
Really?
So I have a tactician
Wildcat?
left, and I have
Yeah.
to go with my boy. For my tactician, it will be Scott Summers, Cyclops.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Good. All right.
Does anyone still have to pick?
We're done.
Got on mine.
Okay. So I actually was trying to type those all out so quick that I didn't catch my last one. Well, my one before last. I had Iron Man, but who did I pick before that?
Superman as your bruiser?
Yes. Yeah.
I have Storm, Cap, Superman, Iron Man. I'm missing my fifth.
Which one is it? Which category?
Stealth. Oh, I never picked the stealth.
No, you did Batman.
Batman.
No, I didn't get
I
Batman.
picked Batman. I picked
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
Batman.
did.
I never did a stealth.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
so you have
oh.
to finish it off then. Yeah.
Okay, stealth.
Oh, how the hell did that? Nightcrawler.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Cool.
Everybody's
And
got 5.
yeah, everyone should have 5, right? So, Kale got Flash for his stealth, Captain Cold for his tactician, Oracle for his tech, Mary Marvel, Shazam for his bruiser, and Elemental was Firestorm.
Yeah.
Marco got Swamp Thing for his elemental, surprise, surprise. Batman Beyond for his stealth. Cyborg for his tech. Tactician was Wonder Woman, and Bruiser was Juggernaut. Tyler got Batman for his stealth, Hulk for his bruiser, Thor for his elemental, Beast for his tech, and Cyclops for his tactician. Pretty interesting teams.
I feel like
I-
mine's basic.
My, I was trying to figure out like a tactician, but I'm like, wait, but I want somebody who can fight too, and like Wonder Woman's like, yo, checks off 2 boxes.
She leads armies, so I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Love seeing the teams in the chat. Harris's team, as we get a poll up, if you could, Marco. Harris's
Yeah.
team is Deathstroke, Forge, Swamp Thing, Black Adam, and Martian Manhunter. That's interesting.
Columbo's got tactician is Cyclops, Bruiser is Orion, stealth is Cascane, tech is Mr. Fantastic, and element is Geoforce. That's what I mean when I say mine's fucking basic.
Geoforce. What the hell?
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I'm not all the way sure I know who that is.
It's
Terra's
Terra's
brother.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Huh.
The Prince
right.
of Markovia or whatever.
Markovia.
Most recently, the guy that killed Ra's al Ghul in right before Lazarus Planet. It was the Shadow War.
Yeah, that was a fun draft.
That was tough.
The parameters were good though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just missing like POV character, I think, and then it's like a literal
thinking-
team that they would make.
I did want to go with Swamp Thing first. I wanted a different elemental, but it was the first thing. It was easy and gave me a chance to think through the other ones. I wanted oh my god, from the OG X-Men.
Iceman?
Iceman.
No, Sunfire.
Spot? Sunfire?
Yeah, the Japanese guy.
Yeah. I wanted him first. I was like, what's his name? Swamp Thing.
Not OG X-Men.
He's
Well,
giant size.
OG Uncanny X-Men.
Correct. That's what I
The
meant.
70s stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, get your votes in if you are watching us live. If you're watching us later, let us know in the chat who you think won the draft. I feel like that was a fun one, and quite frankly, I think any of our teams could take it. So let us know who you think won the draft. This has been a really fun show, big show, lots to talk about. Thank you guys so much for joining us and sticking with us. We will reveal the draft winner at the end of my little spiel here. But I do want to mention patreon.com/thecomicspals. That is the best way to support your boys. If you enjoy what we do, if you want more of it, and you want to let us know that, that's the most direct way to do so. And we appreciate everybody who does it. We try to give you a lot of bang for your buck. We have a lot of cool stuff that's about to happen. And, we appreciate everybody who's taken that journey with us. Channel members, thank you all so much. You can become a VI pal today by heading on over to youtube.com/thecomicspals. Under the channel, you can click the join tab. There are 2 tiers. One of them gives you access to our emojis, are the pals heads. You can put them in the chat if you watch live. But the other one is a more general thing, which gives you access to timed exclusive videos. We're talking about all kinds of evergreen topics that we can't get to on the show. So lots of cool stuff happening over there for the channel members. Watch this show live every Saturday at 10:15 a.m. Pals Pulls is at 6 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Lots of fun on that show where we review comics every single week. You can vote and influence what we're reading in the listener pick poll, which goes up every Friday. It's up right now, and it seems like it's been kind of hotly contested. So that's been fun to watch.
Hope mine's winning.
Yours?
Yeah.
In the Pals Pulls poll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which one's yours?
Which comic?
Yeah.
In the Pals Pulls poll.
The one that I'm trying to get the link for right now so I can.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
one-
Outsiders, Speed Force, Wesley Dodge, Sandman, and Green Lantern.
Oh,
Which one's
Sandman,
yours?
that's what I was saying.
The,
Okay.
the one Marco definitely picked.
Well, currently Outsiders #1 is winning. So fans of the Speed Force, I don't know where you guys are at, but nobody's showing out for that book.
Because we have people talking about it too, but
Right.
where y'all at?
Yeah, exactly. Everything else at the Comics Pals, all over social. You know how to find us. Join our Discord server to stay up to date with what we're doing and have fun chats with us and our wonderful community. Marco, what is the result of the poll?
Got you. Ending it now. Drum roll. Ooh, Sean with 50%. Dang.
What? I can't believe I won again.
How many burners you have on there, Sean?
So I came in with 50%. Tyler got 25%, and Marco and Kale tied for 12%.
Wow, I thought I would have done better.
Twinsies.
I'm not. I think I sit right where I belong. I don't feel like I did very good on this one.
Yo, CW Gordon, fans of Speed Force, Spurrier's doing good stuff, but it's not Flash #3 this week, so don't pick it. Do Sandman instead.
Wow. Unreal. Let the listeners have a mind of their own, Marco. They can think for themselves.
All right.
That's not what YouTube is for, Sean.
True.
It's definitely why
Plugs.
they come here. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Comics Pals. You can find me on Twitter, on Instagram at Toto and Toe. That's TOTOI and TOW. You can find my work, though, at kaleward.com. That's CALEWARD.com. Don't forget, we've got the Marvels review coming out tomorrow as well. that we were recording right after this.
Expect a scheduled post to show up.
Whenever it gets scheduled.
Yeah, when it. Well, I'm gonna put it up as soon as we're done recording it. So.
You can follow me on all of the socials at Mr. Marco Enomoto. And as a reminder, vote in the book club poll, please, 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 because I want to see Empire win.
That's the patrons,
If you're a patron.
which
Which is
know,
what you
should
were
be.
trying to talk about earlier, and then you realized you were wrong, so you tried to improv it to pretend you were talking about Palace polls. But
Oh,
Wait, what?
call out.
yes, and
Savage.
you can follow me at the Tyler Olson on Instagram and Twitter, and everywhere else. I'm everywhere. Talking about World of Warcraft, I got bit by the bug again. BlizzCon sold me. They sold me. I already pre-ordered the next expansion, so
Dang.
I've been playing all week. It's fun. It's fun. Playing a
Oh,
Demon
man,
Hunter.
Word.
Never played one before, so.
My man burned through Spider-Man and said, "Let me pick up my previous edition."
Yeah. And it feels good because like my brain is off while I'm playing that game. Like I
Nice.
just understand my rotation as a Fury Warrior so well. Like I don't need to. I can almost do it just by audio cue. It's just
You ever think about just reading a book?
I got 80 HDs. It's hard for me to read books because I fall asleep. This copy of X-Men, Star Trek: The Next Generation, X-Men: Planet X has been on my desk for months, and I've read 3
Hell
pages.
yeah.
So
As for me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram only at Sean Soapbox. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You're the best audience in the world, the best pals in the universe. We thank you. We love you.